What's up? Let's talk about blog commenting today. So, Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. We're going to talk about blog commenting and its use for SEO, if it's worthwhile. And I'll tell you right now, I think it's worthwhile. You probably gathered that. I'll tell you all about it. I have three main sort of reasons I'm going to tell you about today. It's going to be around making connections. It's going to be around what I'm going to call RD for right now. I'll tell you about it in a second, but it's RD, and more RD is a good thing. And the last part is anchored text diversity. And I drew this picture here. I'll tell you about that also. So we got a few people on for this live stream right now. My voice sounds awful, but we're going to get into it. So we got Adrian on. I think we're going to have a few more people filtering in. Interesting thing, I was trying to share this on Facebook and it wouldn't load. So I don't know what's up. And I tried to load Facebook on my other machine. Is Facebook out for anyone else, by the way? Not sure if I have to clear cookies or some kind of stuff like that, but I didn't worry about it. We're just going to move forward today. We got Yassine on. What up? Good to have you on. And other Doug, Blue Fuse there. Welcome. So I've been out for a couple days. It's been nice. Just burned some time right now while we're talking. Went down to the Grand Teton National Park, which is only 4 hours from where I live in Bozeman, which is great. So we drove through Yellowstone National Park, which is just a beautiful drive. It's very quiet right now. It's sort of like the bridge season between the summer and the winter. It's just really quiet. There's not many people in the park. We went down to the Grand Tetons and it was just beautiful, just amazing. If anyone has been there, you know what I'm talking about, but it's sort of indescribable. I will put out a vlog in probably next week or so, just because I shot some video and there's cool pictures and stuff. So I'll be putting that out. If you're just joining for the first time for a live stream, welcome. I think I need to put my schedule out. But if you're on these, when I come on, but a lot of people have been asking me. So on my about page, I'm going to list it, but I'm trying to keep it simple. Just 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which is my local time here, on Wednesday and Friday. So today we're doing a topic. We're going to talk about blog commenting and SEO and why it is worthwhile, even though most SEO experts will tell you not to waste your time with it. All right. We got Paul on also. What's up? Visual is telling me my information is so helpful. Thanks. I'll read all compliments here. I think it's just a good thing to do. We have Rain on. You were reading the email from today. That's cool. Yeah. I appreciate it. We have a few other folks on. Pavel, what's up? Kent, it's still warm and muggy in Texas, I bet. And XCNet is on. Brittany. Oh, Brittany, what's going on? I remember we exchanged a couple emails. We have Sahid on. Welcome. So I think I'm going to get started here in a second. Like I mentioned, this is on blog commenting and sort of why I like it. Now, quick note, if you're just hopping on, a couple things. If you can hit the like button, I'll appreciate it. If you are getting something out of it at some point, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And the other part is, if you have questions, totally cool. You could ask questions. I'll probably answer them at the end so I don't lose my train of thought and everything. Make the questions relevant to the topic today. That will yield the longest, most thorough answers for you. So if I don't say that, then I may end up here for an hour and a half talking about all sorts of random stuff. However, if you do have sort of random questions that are not in the topic today, that is fine. On Friday at the same time, at the same place, you can ask Q&A, general questions, whatever you want to ask. And I'll hang out for an hour, hour and a half like we did last week, and I'll answer your questions. So it's no problem, but like to keep the topic tight. So if people start watching this video, I don't answer just random stuff that's unrelated. So if you have questions, it's totally cool. On the Friday session, it's 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Fridays. Okay, same time, same place. All right, we're going to get into it. And the one other thing to note is there's a link for the exact process I use to find the blogs to comment on. And it's like, I think it's like a 5-minute video. And I shot it. It works, right? I shot it like, I think 3 years ago, three, 3 years ago, and it's still current. There is a specific link in that video that you'll need to grab. But if you watch that, it like shows you how to find the blogs really quickly, and it shows you how to pull those over to a list so that you can work with a concise list of URLs to do the blog comments. Okay, so I talked a little bit here. So I'm going to get into the details. So first off, I want to go ahead and talk to the people who say, hey, Doug, blog commenting is a waste of time. Those are no follow links. And just a quick definition, if we think of backlinks like votes from other websites, a do follow vote like counts, a lot. It's like a full vote for your site. And this is sort of like in the eyes of Google. There's a lot of quotes, right, that I'm throwing up here, but basically the do follow links are the ones you want. Those are the important ones. No follow links, they don't actually pass along the link juice, as we call it, more air quotes, right? They don't pass along the link juice. However, it is natural in a backlink profile for a site for there to be no follow links. There's a variety of reasons for it, and blog commenting is one of them. Now, can you rank a site, or can you rank a page, and can you rank your site just using blog comments? Well, most people will tell you no. I'll say if you are publishing keyword golden ratio content, you probably can rank if you just get blog comments. And another thing is you can get blog comments on relevant URLs, relevant like posts, right? So if you are, I'm going to have to make up some example, but if you have some topic out there and you comment on a blog that's on the same topic or something closely related, people that read that are probably interested in your article too. So if you link, or if you have a link to an article like that, that's going to work out well for you. If you use the tactic that I mentioned in the video that I talked about, it's linked in this description below. So if you just read my description below this video, you can queue up that video to watch it later. It'll take you 5 minutes, and you'll realize that blog commenting doesn't have to be so tedious and complicated. So anyway, there are no follow links, but there are still advantages to doing blog commenting and a blog commenting campaign. So number one, I will talk about, this is probably like the best reason. You can actually get do follow links if you put this together in an SEO plan, right? If you have an SEO campaign that you're going to run, your first layer, and this is what I do, this is what my students do in 5-Figure Niche Site, they go out and they comment on blogs, they make a connection with the bloggers, they are interacting with the bloggers know who they are, and then they can ask for a guest post later. And that guest post will have do follow links. So you can use blog commenting to network. And that's the whole idea. Do you get an advantage immediately from doing blog comments? Probably a minimal, tiny little, no follow link that is not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily going to make you rank like #1 for a competitive term. Now, when you look at it from just a bigger picture, and you're thinking, hey, I want to get do follow links via guest posting, so I have powerful links from good domains, then blog commenting makes total sense, and it'll work just fine. In fact, it's one of the best ways to network and connect with people. You can comment on blogs for very big blogs, and those people read the comments and they reply back if you have an intelligent comment to add in there. I mentioned it a couple times if you've seen some of these sort of related topic type videos from me. If you comment on my blog like 2, 3 times, like I'll remember who you are 100%. You could send me an email later and I'll recognize your name because I don't get that many comments on my blog. And, generally, unless you have a super huge blog, you're not going to get a ton of comments. And I bet, I'm just throwing this out, but I bet if you commented on, say, Tim Ferriss's, tim.blog for a few posts consecutively, and they're good comments and you're an early commenter, he's probably going to remember you. And he gets hundreds of comments per post. Like, he'll probably remember you. So, okay, I'm just going to take a quick look at make sure everything's cool. All right, good. Asking questions in here. All right. I'm going to go. So point number 1 is blog commenting is a very good way to network, and it shows, your ability to ask intelligent questions, demonstrate your, knowledge for the niche, and just generally be a nice person. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2 is getting more RD. So I intentionally wrote the abbreviation there. So that's referring domains. How many people are familiar with referring domains or the term or anything like that? Just let me know in the chat. Just say, hey, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So referring domains, you'll usually see this on a backlink crawler. Like Ahrefs and Majestic, those are like the 2 primary ones that I use personally. I usually just use the free versions. I don't normally have to dig too deep into my backlink profile, but basically the referring domains are sort of like the key metric for me. You can look at the number of backlinks, but those will tell you like every place that there's a link from a domain. So for example, you do this blog commenting campaign that I'm describing here, and then there's a video below that you can go watch and see how to find, like, probably in like 10 minutes, you could find hundreds of relevant, like niche relevant domains to comment on those blogs, right? So basically, if you go and do a blog commenting campaign and a particular blog has recent comments in their sidebar or some kind of widget in their footer or something like that, all of a sudden your comment may turn into like 400 backlinks from one single domain, which is weird because all you did is put one comment in, but it's kind of like a common thing to see. And a lot of people do ask me that question. Turns out you don't have to worry about that. Google understands that it's probably a widget and you're not going to get like penalized for having like too many basically like a bunch of like backlinks from one domain. So they really only recognize like the one, and then it's sort of diminishing returns. Now, that's not to say, it's bad to have more than one link from a domain. That's not true. But if you have like the same domain over and over, then it's not going to be like a big deal. So anyway, that like number, that metric that I'm talking about, referring domains, that's what I look for when I look at competition most of the time. That's what I look for, for my own side. I want to see like more referring domains. I don't care if I get like, 14,000 backlinks from like 100 domains. I'd rather have, like several hundred referring domains that are all unique and all different. Now, the thing is, when you go out and comment on many different blogs, dozens and dozens of different blogs, you'll increase your referring domain. The reason why I think that is a good thing, and I haven't tested, I usually try and, talk about things that I've done before, but this seems to work well for me and the students that I've coached in the past. Basically, a gray hat sort of SEO, they're probably going to have most of their backlinks from like PBNs, Web 2.0s, and other sort of commodity type like backlink areas, right? Backlink types that they could just buy, right? So with that in mind, it's probably not common for them to go out and get a bunch of different referring domains through blog commenting, which is a totally normal thing to do. If you go read big blogs, you'll see that other big bloggers comment on their friends' blogs because they read each other's blogs. So it's totally normal for that to happen. my, my peers and other blogger friends of mine read my blog and they comment on it, and I read their blog and comment on it. So it's totally normal, and it's a great thing to have more referring domains. Additionally, when you look at metrics like domain authority or trust flow, which I don't necessarily endorse or anything like that, but it's very important for some people. If you go out and get a bunch of different referring domains, even through blog commenting, that will boost your domain authority. Again, I don't really care about domain authority, but some people do. And some people ask, how can I increase my domain authority? What can I do? Blog commenting is actually like a free way to just go do it. So, all right, so that's number 2. You get more referring domains. That is generally a good thing. And cool. And I see a lot of good comments out there. I do see questions. I'm going to come back to them in a second. So keep them coming. I'm going to hit point number 3. And this is the anchor text diversity. So I see a lot of people were familiar with referring domains. So that's good. Who is familiar with anchor text diversity and the importance of that? Just curious. Basically, the anchor text is the hyperlink that links to your site. So it's the, probably like blue underlined text. It's the link, right? And generally, actually, like when I first got started in internet marketing, it was right on the edge when Google was cracking down on anchor text. And I think it was mostly related. There were several updates, but I think this one in a lot of ways was around the Penguin update. And related type updates were off page. Anchor text was highly considered. So in this sort of area, people do like to have like good anchor text diversity. I think that's a good thing. It shows randomness, and it shows that you're not like keyword stuffing and over optimizing your anchor text. So back when I got started, I mean, I think you could, this was like 4 years ago, you could have like 30% like exact match anchor text to like your site, and it would be okay. And then after a couple months, it may get penalized. A lot of people ran into issues, and it's one of those things like you over optimize because it's working, and then Google penalizes it because too many marketers are doing stuff like that. So the anchor text diversity is generally, it's good to have, and I drew this picture here. I have a lot of colored pencils, so I thought, hey, I should use those. So what you'll see here, anchor text diversity, Majestic, I think, has one of the best graphs to illustrate this. And that is a little bright, so I'll move it down here-ish. So basically, this big part over here, that's kind of what you want to have for others. So if you look at a big site, like, I don't know, quicksprout.com or socialtriggers.com or another big site that has like tons of backlinks and they're an authority in their niche, they're going to have like probably a pretty big space of other, where like just random bloggers, so many people are linking to them that they have just, the biggest piece of the pie here is going to be other, because it's just random, different anchor text. Another big area is probably going to be branded. So it would be like Quicksprout or quicksprout.com or Social Triggers or socialtriggers.com and so on. And then these others may just be like big areas, like maybe Neil Patel over at Quicksprout has like his keyword research guide, like advanced keyword research guide. So maybe there's a bunch of links to that because it's just a popular post, and it may be, 15, 18% going to that. Overall domain maybe is, pretty big for a specific term just because it's popular, but most of the time you're going to see other as a huge part of it. In some even bigger sites, like, I don't know, I'm just going to make it up, I didn't check it before, but like if you go to like CNN.com, it may be like, 90% is other, because there's so many diverse stories out there. Now for a niche site or an authority site or something like that, you may end up with, I mean, you would maybe have to work to get this other beefed out, but we're talking about blog commenting today. What you can do, right? Most of the time you do need to put your name. If you want your comment to get approved, you do need to put your name or a name in the name section for the blog comment for it to be approved. If you put some kind of keyword rich anchor text or something that is not a name into the name field for your comment, it's probably not going to be approved. So you do need to put a name in there. That said, you could change up the name. You could change up how you type it. If you're, you could use nicknames. Occasionally you will see like name at a specific brand name. So at that point you could have like some brand brand anchor text in there. Again, it could potentially be keyword rich, but it doesn't have to be. It just depends on what the brand is. So that could be okay. So like for my blog, maybe it's like Doug space at niche site project. So that obviously in that case would have like some keyword rich aspect to it with niche site in there, but you don't have to think about it too hard. You could just make some variations over time that can help improve your overall anchor text diversity, which can be important depending on what you're working on. Okay, so I talked a pretty good amount there. I had 3 main points, and the first one was around networking and making connections within your niche, probably the most important thing because that will allow you to get do follow links in the future. Number 2 is getting more referring domains, which sort of sets your site apart from your competition. If you're into the vanity metrics like domain authority, you can actually boost your domain authority by doing a lot of blog commenting. You could also get like relevancy if you're getting a lot of, even these no follow links from, relevant niche sites, or not niche sites, but relevant to your niche, rather. That's the right way to say it. That's a good thing. And number 3 is to get anchor text diversity based on what you're putting in for the name field, and just in general, you can put different names in. It's not uncommon for a website to have multiple contributors, so it wouldn't be unusual for there to be like different names, and you don't have to feel bad about putting different names. And you could put nicknames, you could put shortened names or something like that to help add to the diversity. Okay, I'm gonna head over to the questions here, see what's up. Thanks everyone for joining. By the way, I see we got several. All right, we got some good chat going on. All right, getting to it. Okay. And then I do see a question here, but that's unrelated, but I'll answer it. Can I like analyze someone's site on live stream in the chat? I try to avoid doing that because that basically outs your site. And what you don't want to do is out your site to a bunch of other people who are trying to do the same thing. It's just not smart. So, and generally, I mean, if you want your site analyzed, I have consulting sessions, a paid consulting session, and I can go through it, and then you'll actually get like really good information. I can't go that in depth in these sort of live streams, and just in general, it's not a good use of your like efforts and my time. Okay. Visual says, how can I get high quality backlinks? Do blog commenting. I think it's really good. Josh, what's up? He says, what are my thoughts on buying manual blog commenting versus laboring over doing it manually? If it's a good provider, I think that could be fine. You can hire someone that'll do a pretty good job if you're willing to train them. And I think that is a great way to, leverage your time and money, because you could probably hire someone for like $5 to $10 an hour, and they'll do an awesome job. And if you give them a list of places to comment, they'll do it quickly and they'll probably do a nice job on it. Let's see. We got Leo. What's up? Good to have you on. Josh says most blog comments nowadays are no follow. Thoughts? I answered it. I know you probably asked that before I mentioned it, but basically you can get some benefit from it through like anchor text diversity. You get more referring domains. The main thing is your networking. If you follow the link below, right, for the how-to on finding the blogs to comment on, there's a comment love tactic that I've been doing for several years. I learned it, I think, from Quick Sprout and Neil Patel, like way back in the day. And you can get some small percentage of do follow links if you follow the method in that video. So it's just a configuration setting that people have on comment love. And it's, I don't know how to tell which ones are going to be do follow or no follow, but if you just do a bunch of them, probably like, 5 to 10% are going to be do follow. All right. Eric, what's up? Good to have you on. We got Drifter on, and people like my hat. Thanks. This hat is it's turtle fur. It's not sponsored. It's just a way to keep my bald head warm when it's cool. So now that I'm doing I wear this hat constantly. So this time of year, it's going to be on my head a lot. I think it's going to be like a second member of the live stream. So get used to the hat. I'm glad people like it. All right. Josh says, you're scared of doing old school free guest posting. You pay for everything. Okay, cool. Adrian says, what strategy are you using to create a link that will link back to your site? I mean, you say it should not have affiliate links in it. Then is it just an informational article? You know what? I'm not sure the context in which you're asking, Adrian, but what strategy am I using to create an article that will link back to your site? It's a guest post, and it should not have affiliate links in it. No, because it's going to be on someone else's site, so you wouldn't put your own links in it. You can have them put their links in it. That'd be a good idea. And whether it's informational or something different, that's totally up to you. Either one will work. Other Doug, Blue Few says, do I ever find that the blog owner feels like you're just using them? You know what? I don't know that they tell me. Every now and then. If you're commenting on their blog and you read their article and you like make an intelligent comment, they're going to be thrilled that you read their stuff. That's basically what everyone wants them. Like, that's what a blogger wants you to do. They want you to read the blog and interact with them. So they'll probably feel good about it. And then your follow-up is, do you take enough time to nurture the relationship so that they never feel that way? Yeah, that's the idea. How long does that take? Depends. Probably 2 to 4 weeks. We got Brian on. What's up? Okay, cool. And a lot of people are familiar with referring domain. Okay. Okay. And Rovan says you're seeing positive movement in the ranks with blog comments. I have heard that multiple times, especially with the keyword golden ratio in play. By the way, if you're not familiar with the keyword golden ratio, you can search on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find many videos with information on the keyword golden ratio. Josh does mention that you bought a guest post on Entrepreneur a while back. It was a no follow and you saw major movement on it. Very cool. And I have heard a lot of those bigger sites are generally moving to no follow links anyway, just because their writers and contributors are selling links like you're describing. So I think, basically you gotta, if you get traffic through like the guest post link that you get, like that is a good sign. That's probably when you're going to see movement on that stuff. Right. Drifter says, can I tell us about the search query for finding niche related sites on which you could blog comment? So mostly that is in the video that it's linked below. So it's about 5 minutes long. Do take a look when we finish up here. Don't watch it right now, but take a look later because that goes through the process. There is a super important link in that other video's description for a bookmarklet that you're going to need. It's kind of a game changer for like making this work and making this fast. Because if you do it any other way that I'm aware of, it's going to be slow. It's going to suck and it's going to be even more boring than you think it could be. Now, as far as the search query, normally I try and develop my own search query. Now, I'm telling you about a snippet of an overall plan to get do follow backlinks. That snippet is this, blog commenting, but eventually you want to get guest posts. You have to start with the end in mind. Basically, for like anything you're going to do, you need to have like an idea where you want to end up. If your plans change like in the middle of it, that's cool. That's fine. You do, learn more as you go, and, as you progress on whatever your plan is, you'll be able to refine your plan and do a better job as you go. The point being, my goal is to get a guest post. So I look for blogs to comment on with the goal of getting a guest post. So I'm looking for queries that lead me to blogs in which I think I can get a guest post. So that means I'm not looking for like any direct competitors. They probably won't like approve my comment off the bat. So that's number one. And then additionally, they're never going to like let me guest post on their site if I'm a direct competitor. So what that means is you need to look for sort of related shoulder type niche sites or niches, or just I'm struggling to use the right word here, but basically not direct competitors. You want to find stuff that's kind of related to your niche, but not your direct competitors. Okay. So that means you need to maybe be a little bit more broad. Here's what you can't do. You can't put in like keyword like best electric shaver, right? You can't put in best electric shaver and leave a comment, because do you know what you're going to find then? You're just going to find your competitors, like your direct competitors. So that's not going to work. What you need to do is look for like blogs where sort of the same kind of audience reads that stuff. So electric shavers is, male. Maybe you can look for, outdoor lifestyle sites or something like that. And I'm just making a broad assumption, but that sort of like leap is one that you're going to have to make to find blogs that will approve your comment, and then blogs that have, an audience that will be interested in the content that you may write. So you have to keep that in mind. So, and if you come up with your own footprints to look for, then you'll be able to go to a much less crowded channel, which is key for this sort of SEO like game that we're like trying to play in this case. So I gave you like a quick example. I'm not answering the question directly, but here's the thing. Like if you look at, the footprints to look for, and you just use those without adding your own, like without injecting your own ideas into it, you're going to be finding the same blogs that everyone else is. So you need to figure out your own like method to do it. And honestly, the footprints that I look for end up being like, leave a comment or leave a reply, and then I'll put some sort of like specific related topic. So for niche site project, I'll just give an example. I may look up, like leave a comment, and then I'd put something in like long tail keyword research. It's maybe a bad example since there's a tool out there with a similar name to that. But if I look for like keyword research tips and leave a comment, then I'll be like out there looking at blogs that talk about keyword research, which probably most of them are not my direct competitor, because I'm talking about Amazon affiliate sites. And there's like a huge range of keyword research that a person can look for. So I hope that helps. But basically, you need to figure out your own sort of area, your own footprint, And as you go through, you'll find some work better than others, and you should do more like that. And the ones that don't work as well, like stop doing as many of those. Okay. All right. Still looking through here. Adrian says, what do I recommend to learn about SEO? So I would say go read a lot of like backlinko. Brian Dean's like one of the best in the area of SEO. And I think if you look at what he's doing, it can work for like broader, like bigger industries and stuff. But you'll need to keep in mind like the stuff that I'm teaching, like the keyword golden ratio, that's like the opposite of what he's teaching. So there are different areas that you can learn. And I think both are super valuable. I mean, Brian is teaching more about, create like really awesome content and then go tell people about it and spend most of your time on marketing. The keyword golden ratio is about using, data and is about using data and keyword tools and ideas to publish a lot of content that is super like targeted and publishing a great deal of content that may not actually be like super high quality, but just enough to help the person, learn what they want to. So Adrian, that is a lot of times when there's broad questions, it's hard to answer. So what do I recommend to learn about SEO? Go to Brian. Like he has a big course on it, and I think if you study that, you probably learn like everything you need to know about SEO. But the biggest thing is to implement it, right? So you don't even need to buy his. He tells you a lot of stuff on his site, just in general, and I do too on like my channel and on my blog. So if you just like read and learn without implementing, then you're kind of you're going to be at a disadvantage. But if you actually implement it, you should be in good shape. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. And then I see a couple people mention the anchor text stuff and being confused. Okay, that may be something else to talk about. Most of the time, if you are not like doing gray hat activities, you don't actually need to worry about anchor text so much. But some people do. It's a super common question, which is one of the reasons why I noted it. But in a lot of ways, you don't have to worry about anchor text diversity as much unless you're doing like PBN stuff, private blog networks. And let's see. Leo says, is there a person or company that you can follow to learn more advanced topics or cutting edge research on link building? Good question. I would say probably, so I mentioned it before. So Brian Dean, Backlinko, I think like he's good for agency types or bigger companies. From the perspective of like niche sites, I think a lot of the stuff that he talks about is either it's overdone because a lot of marketers do it in the niche site area. So it gets sort of saturated and it becomes less effective as more people do it. And then the other part is, I mean, the saturation level of those tactics in the affiliate marketing area like happens really fast. So if you're sort of in an area where people are not as savvy, then you could probably implement those, tactics, guestographics, the skyscraper technique, guest posting in general, and you'll do fine. But if you try to do it for like affiliate marketing stuff, it's just there's so many people, it's hard to do. Um, and then as far as link building and stuff, I will say Matt Diggity, super smart. I think he and a few of his like business partners are launching something where they are doing like research, and they have like a lot of data because they have a lot of sites and they have a lot of customers. Um, I haven't like dove into any of that, but I know they know what they're talking about. So as far as I guess like other people, I'm not really sure. So much of it, I think, like if you just focus on the basics, you end up being better off than doing any sort of cutting edge stuff. However, it is really interesting, especially like, somebody like Matt Diggity who is using the scientific process to like do actual experiments and get actual data instead of doing like one case study and claiming that, it's the way to do things. Okay. And Steph says there are so many technical things to learn and know. Is it easier if you learn particular skills? What skills help? You're not highly skilled with computers. That's a tough one to answer too. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm not a great person to ask. I'm not like highly technical, but I have like a software background. But I don't think I actually use it at all. So so I think as long as you're willing to like do a little bit of research to find out like where you're having the issue, and then you can go to people for help. So there's a lot of areas that you can go to get help. I mean, if there are small like Facebook groups with a curated group of people, like not a public Facebook group, then you may be able to go there to get help. Usually those people are a little bit nicer, especially if they paid to be there. They're going to everyone's just going to be a little bit cooler. If you go to like general Facebook groups, you're not going to be able to get much help. um Okay. And further, Steph is asking about like WordPress or SEO or HTML. I mean, if you don't need to know much about WordPress other than, like publishing things. Most of it is taken care of for you. I think SEO is like super important, and HTML you don't need to know. Okay. Still going. Still going in the questions here. Sorry, folks. It's a little hard to follow the chat occasionally. Pastor Duke is recommending Josh. How do you say his last name? Bakinski, who's a YouTuber. So check that out. And someone asks about comments from Comment Love. Yeah, that's literally the tactic and strategy in the video linked below. Al is asking about, is a blog comment risk for inner page? No, that should be fine. However, it may not get approved. So I would say don't try that. Use the comment love tactic in the video below. So be sure you check that out. And Sahid is asking about what name to use. Use your name. Don't use targeted anchor text. And actually, if you missed that, rewind the video. I literally talked about that for a few minutes to give more context to the answer. Yassine says how to look for blogs similar related to your niche. Okay, so basically, you need to figure out your own footprint. Think of topics related to your niche, but not directly stuff on your competitors. Do I use Amazon Site Stripe for images? Yeah, that's all. Rohan, what's up? Good to have you on. Drifter is saying, I got what you said, but when I'm looking for a blog to comment on, so as to network, at times I come across sites that are huge sites and I think they won't accept it. So if that's the case, then skip that one. What's up, Jeff? Good to have you on. And then Drifter is saying, for guest posts, should we consider the website size? Huge sites and lots of authority, or what? Yeah, I mean, you should consider it, but basically I would, when I was doing the big campaigns, right, I would go ahead and guest post on like any site that would have me, as long as they had like, some post up and it looked like they were trying, basically. So, maybe those are not the ones that are going to make a huge difference, but to be able to get a guest post on a site is good. And like, if it's relevant, that is really good. Now, funny thing is, a lot of times small bloggers who are just getting started have, they have a big head for some reason. You get a lot of comments or responses that say something like, I only write my own content. I really want to have like a top-notch blog or something like that. And it's like, come on, like, just getting started. Like, it's cool if you want to, only publish your own stuff, but the reason they give is sometimes a bad excuse. Right. Jeff is asking about comment love and HTTPS, or are you missing something? I think if you just like put in HTTPS, like, I think that should work for you. Let me know, Jeff. Eric, what's up? You run traffic research, a private SEO membership for link building and advanced blah, blah, blah. Cool. Yeah. Send me an email. Would be glad to meet you. Thanks, Eric. And Josh is telling us the Dickity's new course is the lab. Nice. World Travel is asking this. Steph asking, you feel disadvantaged for not having a web developer background or similar skills. What skills would help? I think maybe it's just in your head. Don't worry about it. I think, you know what? A lot of people tell me, hey, I'm learning like WordPress. I'm taking a class on like development and blah, blah, blah. And I also want to start a niche site. I usually tell them to like stop working on the development stuff, because I think it's more valuable to learn like marketing and SEO and like all the other skills that take like a little bit more time. It can be a little bit helpful, but I literally never touch code. So I think it's all in your head stuff. And Adrian, see you later. Have a good one. We got Scott talking to Steph about HTML and graphics package. And, it is a contrast, right? CSS and PHP, blah, blah, blah. See, the thing is, I don't think you need all, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to become a developer, like, you could do that stuff. Obviously, you need to know that stuff if you're going to be a WordPress developer. But if you're trying to do niche sites, you don't need it. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I won't belabor it. Okay, Imran, how to find sites for comments. So there's a link below in the description that talks about like finding sites. So watch that. It's like 5 minutes long. It's really awesome. What's a good way to post an article from another site without straight copying the info over? Like, how would you summarize the info? Just write it in your own words. I think maybe that is not really what you want to know, but yeah. Brittany says, maybe I mentioned it in a previous video. What do I do when people comment on my site? Do you do a no follow for those, or does it even matter when you're starting out? If it's a good comment, I'll usually approve it, and I'll usually, allow their link to like show up in their name. If they're trying to link to an inner page, I'll usually and it's a good comment, I may let it fly, right? If it's a really good comment, I may let it fly. Most of the time, I'll like delete the inner page because, I don't appreciate them doing link building on my site and I know what they're trying to do. Or sometimes I'll just remove their link altogether. And you can do that in your just WordPress comment, like admin section. You could just remove the link, approve it, edit the link, whatever you want to do. It is automatically no follow, so you don't have to do anything with that, Brittany. And yep. Scott is asking about YouTube SEO and how it's going. So I need to look more at that, or I'm looking constantly at that, Scott. The big gap that I have, right? So these videos like this, most of my videos are, I think they're good. A lot of them are a little long, but they're generally good. The thing is, they are so tightly like focused to my current audience that I'm not like growing my channel like in a big way because I'm not attracting like new visitors, right? I'm not attracting new viewers. I'm just like serving people that already are like on my email list or sort of watching these type of videos. It's good, but it means that I missed like a key critical thing, like for a little while. But now I see it, and now that's why like this past week, right? I published like or this week, I published like passive income topics because like people that are looking at passive income stuff are probably, the same kind of people that could be interested in Amazon affiliate stuff, which is sort of like where most of my videos are like doing well. So the point is I need to do like more broad videos to get in more people and be thoughtful about the SEO side. Basically, the keyword golden ratio within YouTube. So I haven't like done a huge amount in that area yet, but it is like sort of on the edge there. Okay. But overall, things are going well on YouTube. I'm just publishing a lot more stuff and people are watching more stuff. So it's a good thing. The second part is I haven't exactly like escalated this portion, but I'm doing like collaborations, right? So I'm doing interviews, I'm doing collaborations with other YouTubers. Luckily, my channel's small by a lot of standards, but it's not like super small. So people like bigger YouTubers are willing to talk to me. And, luckily, I do have good stories to tell as far as like case studies and things that I've done in the past. So people are interested in my stories. So that is a good thing. So, I'm hoping I can get more collaborations, say like in the next 6 months and do a lot more growth there. Al says, what's my recovery strategy for penalized affiliate sites like Thank Your Skin? I don't know. I don't know the details on that. That is tongue trans stuff out there at Cloud Living, I think. So he did a public case study. By the way, this is one of the reasons why I don't do public case studies, but I guess recently saw that he was getting negative SEO and having some issues. I'm not sure. He said he was doing all white hat before, but I'm not really sure. I haven't talked to Tongue or anything in a long time. But generally, a recovery strategy would be find the bad backlinks, disavow the bad backlinks, and then try to improve the good backlinks. So not real meaningful, but that's like the general idea. All right, trying to go through here. And Eric says Doug's awesome. So like I said, I always read the compliments. Thanks, Eric. All right, cool. And Scott is saying more website teardowns. Cool. Scott, if you have any, like, if you know of any like public sites that are already outed, right? So I try not to just go find people's sites. I could do like a million of those, but I'm not going to out anyone's sites. Not cool. But if you know of any like outed sites, like more breakdowns is something on my list. Now, Steph is asking more stuff about, okay, I'm going to answer one more of your questions, Steph, but I think this is all in your head. So when stuff breaks on the site, I know you could ask online, but I spent a week with my site offline trying to get it up again. Is there an on-demand tech service that I could use that isn't expensive? I don't know. I don't know. Like, you could probably hire a WordPress developer on Upwork for relatively like inexpensive, but if you want like on-demand tech service and you also want it to be cheap, it's probably not going to be that good. So you get what you pay for, like all that stuff. I've had like multiple sites for like multiple years. I rarely have anything that like breaks. So it may be like too many plugins that you're using, or you're using like free plugins, or you're using like free themes, or you're trying to make edits on the site that you don't need to make, right? So one of the reasons I stay out of trouble with like the code and all that is because I just don't touch it. So like don't mess with stuff if you don't know how to do it, if that makes sense. Let's see. Okay. All right, I'm going to head out. I think that is most of the questions. Jeff is going to head out. Someone asked, does Google give advantage to a site with good comments and a large number of comments? I don't know. Unsure. Josh is asking, how many daily visitors does my Amazon site get? One of them that I talk about often gets like 2,000 or 3,000 a day. And Scott is asking about my experience on blog versus video commenting. Oh, I don't do any video commenting really. And Drifter's asking about where I host. Okay, we're getting into general questions. So I'm going to say on Friday, bring your question back, Drifter. Friday, same time, same place. If you are like not subscribed to the notifications, or if you don't have notifications turned on, you should turn them on. If you click the little bell, you'll get a notification when I'm going live. I'll do Q&A on Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I will tell you that, let's see, I use a few different hosts. I have Bluehost, I have SiteGround, and I have MDD hosting. And let's see, lastly, Imran says, what are my thoughts on comment backlinks in the future? I don't know. Probably the same as what I said today. Yeah, probably the same as what I said today, because it's been consistent for like 3 years. So I think what I described today will hold true, at least for the next 24, 36 months. All right, cool. I'm out of here. Thanks everyone for joining in, and we'll see you next time. By the way, if you didn't click the thumbs up as a, to let everyone know that it was a good video, please do it now. See you later.